Hi folks, Advanced Fishing and Outdoor. We're going to focus on a very small project today, and that is the gasket for the sending unit on the tank on this boat, on the fuel tank. Now, what can happen over time is that the rubber seal, in this case it's rubber, some of them are cork, a lot of them are a neoprene material. What can happen is it can actually start to crack. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull up the sending unit. I'm going to replace it with the gasket. This one here is a 5-hole. It is the standard on Wema, W-E-M-A. I think they're acquired by another company. But it's the same sending unit that's used with the Moeller Marine. There's a long list of them. And so this particular gasket material is NBR. So you've got some options that are out there. Of course, you're going to pay more for some of those other materials, but I'm using NBR in this case. That's what I'm going to replace it with. While I do that, what I'm also going to do is check for water in my fuel. Now you might wonder, how do you do that? So there's several products on the market. This particular one is the one that I got. And effectively what it is, you put the paste on a wood, like a paint stick here, paint stirring stick, stick it down, pull it out. Of course, if you follow the instructions, you'll see that it's going to change to red upon contact with water. Now, what that will do is tell us if we have any water in the tank. Now, you might ask, why am I checking that? Well, of course, our first line of defense is typically our marine fuel water separator filter that we have, or you should have, in your boat. And we replace this, of course, during your typical maintenance schedule. But how do you know if you actually got water in your tank? In my case, my fill cap, the O-ring, was a little questionable, and I replaced that. And that's exposed to the elements. So there is the potential that I got some water in there. I don't know. But since I'm going to pull the sending unit out, this is a great time to check that. And so that's why I'm going to do that in this video, show you how this is done. It's a really simple procedure, but it's something that at some point you may want to do. If you pull up the sending unit anyway to put that new gasket on, hey, this is a great time to check for water in your tank. And then you can get a game plan together if you detect water in your tank. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We have an access hole where the sending unit is, which is right here. There is the sending unit, and we have 5 bolts that we want to take off, and this whole sending unit should come up. Oh man, I forgot. I know that there's a zip tie that holds this, so I'll need to make sure I unclip that first so I get enough wiggle room here. So let me clip that first. Oh, and I should mention, what you should do is make sure you use some compressed air or a brush or something to clean stuff out of the way here. I already did that earlier off camera, so just make sure you do that, because you don't want a situation where you end up getting this stuff dumped into your tank, right? That would be no bueno. And I'm going to gently lift the sending unit out. I'm going to take my gasket. Ooh, that was not what I had envisioned. So I can see here, this is odd. They double gasket this thing. They did cork on the bottom, and it's deteriorated. And then we have this rubber up on top. Now the rubber, there's one little crack here. It's not too bad. But the fact that there's a double gasket with cork, I'm going to have to clean that carefully with a little razor knife and not get anything in the screw holes dropping into my tank, because that's going to be pretty ugly. Okay, so things are always, it's always a monkey wrench. Things never go easy. You can see they did, whoever did maintenance, I bought this boat used, so who knows who did this, but there was some cork. You see the residual here on the bottom, and there's some residual here. I will share with you what Wema, the company that makes these sending units, had told me. Use Permatex sealant on the screws, and you can also do it on the mating surfaces of this, and that just gives you some extra insurance, and it'll coat those threads so that the threads do not get seized, because you have 2 dissimilar metals here, right? You got stainless, you got aluminum, You're just asking for some sort of electrolysis to occur. So that's what they recommend. I noticed that whoever installed this, which would probably be either who manufactured this boat or who did maintenance, maybe the reseller, they didn't do that. So shame on them. Okay, let's check for our water now. So instructions: spread thin film of paste on one side of the gauge stick over a few inches. Place gauge stick in tank for about 10 seconds. Remove and observe paste color. Will turn red in presence of water. No water is present when there is no color change. Here we go. We'll give this a shot. I'll put the link in the description for this particular paste if you want to get some. Drum roll. Here we go. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go so it goes all the way up. Drum roll. Here we go. Okay. And what do we have here? I don't see anything. I'm going to determine here that we're safe. None of it turned red, like the instructions said, because it's still orange. Okay. Now we got to clean this up. Clean up around here with a razor knife, and then put our new sending unit and gasket in. So, we got this mostly cleaned up, ready to go. And we want to go ahead and pull out our gasket material, see what we got. There is a mark to line up. That little arrow lines up where the wire comes out of the sending unit. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and put just a tad bit of our Permatex number 2 on here. I'm just going to put it on that mating surface lightly, just a thin coat. When we use this Permatex number 2, it is just for dressing the gasket material. So we're not putting it on very thick. It's very, very thin. And same thing with the threads. We're just putting a light coat on here. And again, this serves two purposes. The first purpose is, of course, to seal it. Second purpose is, we don't want to have dissimilar metals with direct contact, and so this does create a little bit of an isolation barrier. Okay, so we've got stainless on aluminum. And the reason why we use this Permatex number 2 is it is resilient to gasoline. It's designed to be resilient to gasoline, so that's why we're using it over using another sealant. And again, we're just trying to lightly coat these screws. They do sell this in a tube if you don't want the larger can like I have here, and I'll put that link also in the description. Okay, so I'm doing these hand tight, and then I'm going to do like a quarter turn. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to put a zip tie on here, put that baby back on, and we should be golden. And that's about it. Again, I'll put this particular gasket kit in the description so that if you need a replacement for this, again, this is for Wema, 5-screw pattern sending unit, and it is both for Wema, and then also Moeller has the same basic part. So I'll put that in the description. Hopefully that helps you out. So hopefully this video helps you out if you're doing this kind of test and replacement. And hopefully we'll see you out on the water soon. Take care now.